Welcome back, comic lore lovers. Tonight, we explore a question that has haunted fans for decades. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and let the story carry you away. Let your breath slow, deep, and even with each exhale. Feel a gentle warmth spread through your chest. Imagine your favorite quiet space now. Perhaps you feel the soft fabric of a beloved blanket. A distant hum of city life outside fades into a gentle whisper. Tonight, we gently open a door to an alternate Gotham, a place shrouded in perpetual rain and neon gloom. What if the boy wonder, Robin, didn't just fight the Joker, but became him? A calm curiosity guides us into this dark, reflective thought. We ask, what truly happened to twist a hero into a villain? This isn't the Gotham you know perfectly, nor the Robin from the standard pages. This is a city where lines blur, where even the purest hearts can be tainted. Picture the cool night air as it brushes against your skin. You can almost smell the faint scent of fresh rain mixed with damp earth. The sound of muffled footsteps echoes far off. An unknown figure moving through the urban sprawl. We are exploring a Gotham where a single, tragic misstep from Batman himself could shatter the boy wonder. It's a world where the very trauma of fighting crime infects even those meant to rise above it. A gentle anticipation settles as we prepare to trace the fragile threads of this potential downfall. Now let your thoughts drift to Dick Grayson, the first Robin. Imagine him at a pivotal moment, perhaps clutching a cool metal batarang, its surface wet with rain. His faint breath mists in the cold air. The scene is bathed in soft shadows, only broken by a distant, dim amber glow from a street lamp. This is not about a sudden, dramatic fall, but a slow, insidious creep, a transformation born from pain, neglect, and a moment that fractured his world. We reflect on the profound sadness of what might be. What kind of wound could turn a beacon of hope into an agent of chaos? This quiet contemplation, though tinged with melancholy, carries a peaceful resolve to understand this path. Picture now a rain-slicked Gotham rooftop, high above the sprawling city. You can almost feel the cool, damp air on your skin. Below, neon signs cast flickering amber reflections onto wet asphalt. A lone figure stands silhouetted against the dark sky. This is Robin, your boy wonder, poised on the edge. The gentle whisper of perpetual rain dampens all sound. He gazes out at the city, a familiar weight settling in his young shoulders. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as a heavier shadow detaches from the deeper gloom. Batman stands nearby, a silent vigil. You feel the cool metal of a gargoyle beneath his gloved hand. The faint breath of his presence adds to the quiet of the night. His gaze is fixed on the city's labyrinth below. A sense of shared duty, heavy and unspoken, fills the cool air between them. The story draws inward, where Robin's gaze drifts from the city lights to his own gloved hands. You notice a slight tremor in his fingers, almost imperceptible. The damp earth scent rises gently from the distant park. A flicker of doubt, a shadow of weariness, passes across his young face. It's a moment of quiet introspection, heavy with unspoken futures. The perpetual rain continues its gentle, rhythmic descent around them. The cool, damp air enveloped you as Robin remained on the rooftop's edge. His gaze, once fixed on Gotham's distant sprawl, now drifted closer. It settled on the slick, dark surface of the wet asphalt below. A subtle shift in his posture emerged, almost imperceptible. He wasn't just watching the city, he was feeling its constant, weary pulse. The familiar weight of his responsibilities seemed to press a little heavier on his young shoulders tonight. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as a specific memory surfaced in Robin's thoughts. It was of a cold, metallic tang in the air from a previous night. He remembered the faint sound of muffled footsteps, not his own, echoing in a narrow alley. The constant battles, the endless cycle, began to blur. The cool metal of a gargoyle beneath Batman's gloved hand offered a small anchor in the shifting scene. You feel the subtle, creeping doubt, a small seed planted in the fertile ground of his young mind. The story draws inward, where Robin's fingers, almost unconsciously, traced a weathered crack on the ancient gargoyle. The rough stone felt cool beneath his touch. A quiet question formed in his mind, unvoiced, but heavy with unspoken meaning. Was this endless fight truly what justice felt like? Or was it something else, something much harder to define? The faint breath of Batman nearby was a steady rhythm. The lingering scent of ozone, though long past, seemed to return on the cool night air. Robin recalled the glint of a discarded knife. Its blade reflected faint city lights. He remembered the sharp, metallic tang. It had filled that narrow alley. It was blood, not his own, moving deeper into the scene. The air between them grew thick with unspoken words. Batman, a silent sentinel, subtly turned his head. He didn't look directly at Robin. Yet, you feel his deep awareness. He sensed the shift in his young partner. The city's ceaseless drone filled the silence. The atmosphere shifts as a quiet resignation settled over Robin. He didn't expect an answer. Batman remained motionless, a dark silhouette against the glow. Robin simply watched the rain streak down the caped figure. A single raindrop, cold and insistent, traced a path down Robin's own cheek. It felt like a tear, though his eyes were dry. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle shift in Robin's focus. His eyes drifted from Batman's stoic form, moving across the rain-slicked rooftops. They settled on a distant alley entrance, barely visible in the gloom. You feel the faint, persistent thrum of the city beneath your feet. It was a familiar beat, yet tonight it seemed to whisper new, unsettling secrets. A discarded, crumpled playing card caught his eye, a faint glimmer of red and white against the wet asphalt. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as Robin's gaze lingered on the small card. Its pattern, even from this distance, seemed to mimic the chaotic sprawl of the city's lights. The flickering neon signs below seemed to dance with a twisted, joyful energy. You feel a strange pull, a gentle, almost hypnotic fascination. The grit of the rooftop's edge under his glove provided a grounding touch. Yet his mind drifted. He began to notice other discarded fragments on the street below. A broken toy, a torn comic book, a single deflated balloon. Moving deeper into the scene, the city's constant murmur began to take on a different tone in Robin's ears. It wasn't just noise. It felt like a rhythm, a disjointed symphony of hidden laughter and forgotten cries. You feel your own breath slowing, matching the deliberate pace of his dawning realization. The smooth glass of a nearby skyscraper, reflecting the distorted city lights, seemed to shimmer like a funhouse mirror. He saw the world not as a broken machine needing repair, but as a grand, dark joke, continuously unfolding. The subtle vibration of the massive building beneath him resonated with a new kind of energy inside his chest. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as Robin's gaze lingered on the small card. Its faint glimmer of red and white stood out against the wet asphalt. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle shift in his focus. His eyes drifted from the card to the other discarded fragments on the street below. He saw the broken toy, its plastic faded. The torn comic book lay open, pages damp. Moving deeper into the scene, the discarded fragments began to twist further in his mind. The torn comic book, half hidden beneath a rain-soaked flyer, seemed to show a grinning, caricatured face. The deflated balloon, lying flat and stretched, appeared to form a wide, mocking smile among the litter. You feel the cool, weathered stone of the gargoyle still beneath his gloved hand, a steady anchor. Yet, his mind spun with the perceived pattern, the arrangement of the broken toy, the comic, and the balloon wasn't random anymore. The next moment unfolds, revealing a profound shift in Robin's understanding of the city. He slowly looked up from the unsettling street art. The flickering neon signs below, a cacophony of fractured light, seemed to dance with that same twisted, joyful energy from the discarded objects. The chaos wasn't confined to the alley, it was the city's very pulse, mirrored in every broken window and faded poster. You feel a quiet reflection beginning to settle in your mind, a deep internalizing of what he saw. The Joker's chaotic touch, he realized, wasn't just about grand, violent schemes. The patterns on the wet street began to gently fade. You close your eyes now, softly, deliberately. The sharp, vibrant neon glow of Gotham City softens, then recedes completely within your mind's eye. A cool, refreshing breeze drifts past your face, a whisper across your skin. You feel the faint, metallic scent of the urban night, a subtle tang that lingers. It carries with it a heavy, almost reverent silence now. This is the deep, quiet stillness that often follows a profound, unsettling change. A new and unexpected path has truly opened within this alternate realm. It stretches out now, long and perpetually shadowed, moving onward into an uncertain, yet inevitable future. What began with a single, lingering glance at a discarded, rain-soaked playing card eventually blossomed into a profound, irreversible shift in destiny. The familiar, hopeful arsenal, once a shining beacon of youthful heroism, now feels incredibly distant. It's a fading memory, fragile and almost entirely worn away by the abrasive friction of new, darker experiences. The immense, crushing cost of one crucial, regrettable decision hangs palpably in the cool, still night air. You sense the immense and unavoidable weight of this choice, pressing down softly, like a distant storm cloud. This alternate reality, with its twisted reflection of a familiar hero, now settles deeply around you, like a comfortable but heavy shroud. It's a quiet truth, both unsettling in its implications and strangely serene in its finality. A complex story gently told, whispering its final, soft goodbyes. Let the vivid images of that powerful transformation softly recede from your thoughts. Allow your mind to simply observe the tranquil, yet poignant aftermath. The echoes of a fractured, new laughter still seem to linger faintly in the air, but they are softer now, significantly less jarring, like a memory heard from behind a thick pane of glass. You hear them not as a threat, but as a distant, fading echo of what could be. A gentle, persistent rhythm begins to form itself deep in the quiet. It's the steady, unwavering pulse of the sleeping city far below, a low thrumming against the silence. You feel a familiar, worn fabric against your skin, perhaps a comforting memory of a cape once worn, or simply the soft, reassuring texture of a blanket. The cool night air still touches your face, but it carries a new sense of profound peace now, an unspoken acceptance. This version of Gotham, shrouded in its perpetual gloom, finally holds its breath, listening. It understands the quiet, uncomfortable truth of its new, self-made villain. The mask, once intended as a noble protector, became something else entirely. It became a twisted, haunting reflection of the hero it once covered. You contemplate this profound duality, the stark contrast between the hero and the villain, and the dangerously blurry line that separates them. There is no easy or simple answer to be found here, only the profound stillness that follows such a realization. You let your thoughts drift like autumn leaves on a gentle current. There is no urgent need for immediate resolution, just a calm, quiet acceptance of what has been. The story's current flows gently onward, carrying with it all the accumulated tension and unanswered questions. You are left only with the quiet, the profound calm of a night that offers a much-needed, deep rest. And so, the final curtains slowly draw down on this chapter. This deep journey through an alternate, reimagined path concludes now, softly, completely. You can feel a true warmth settling deeply around you, a sense of quiet comfort permeating your space. Perhaps the distant, wailing sirens of the city have finally faded into complete silence. They are now just a soft, almost imperceptible murmur in the deep, enveloping night. Let your entire body relax completely, releasing every last ounce of tension. The familiar, persistent weight of what if gently lifts away from your mind, dissolving like fine mist at the first hint of dawn. You are not meant to carry the heavy burdens of these vast, intricate stories forever. You are simply here to observe them, to ponder them, and then to gently release them. This particular dream of Gotham, with its tragic Joker born from a hero, now sleeps soundly. It rests deeply within the vast archives of possibility until another time you find your own peaceful quiet now, a stillness that is wholly yours. The vivid, unsettling concept of the Joker, the powerful symbol of chaos, can also begin to fade from your active thoughts. It gives way easily and naturally to a profound, untroubled calm. The boy wonders alternate, sorrowful fate is sealed within the story's tapestry. But your own night is clear, unburdened, and ready for true peace. Let all lingering thoughts of capes and cowls, of cackles and crusades, gently go. Embrace this deep, true stillness that surrounds you. Let yourself sink deeper now into the soft embrace of sleep until we meet again, perhaps in another dream of Gotham's boundless possibilities. The quiet deepens around you, a soft, heavy blanket pulled over the city's anxieties. You feel the steady, ancient thrum of Gotham beneath your thoughts, a low, constant vibration that speaks of countless sleepless nights and forgotten stories. It is the city's pulse, a rhythm both weary and enduring, resonating deep within the cold concrete and shadowed alleys. The cool night air, carrying the faint, earthy scent of fresh rain on damp stone, brushes gently against your skin. It whispers of unspoken truths. Your gaze drifts, unhurried, across the sprawling, shadowed metropolis below, moving deeper into the scene. The faint, disquieting echo of a fractured laughter seems to return to the quiet night. It is not harsh or menacing now, but a hollow, melancholic sound, like a broken music box playing a forgotten tune. You sense the cool, raw, textured stone beneath Batman's gloved hand, a solid anchor in a world turned fluid. He remembers another laugh, a bright, youthful, utterly innocent one that once filled the cave with warmth and promise. A flickering neon sign in the deep distance momentarily catches your eye, a lonely pulse of light against the oppressive gloom. Its broken R symbol, half lit and sputtering against the rain-streaked glass, feels like a cruel jest, a mocking tribute to a ghost. The night's embrace shifts subtly, deepening around the truth of Gotham's new villain. A faint, low hum of unseen machinery vibrates gently through the old brickwork and the very ground beneath your awareness, a restless pulse in the stillness. This new Joker, once the bright and hopeful Robin, now operates with a chilling, calculated grace, a dance of chaos that feels both familiar and utterly alien. You trace the rain's silent path as it streaks down a grimy window pane, each drop a tiny, fleeting mirror reflecting the bruised sky. The city below, in its vast, breathing silence, seems to accept this new, unsettling truth. It does so not with fanfare or outcry, but with a profound, resigned quietude, a patient understanding of its own cyclical fate. The broken R symbol holds your gaze. It flickers, a slow, dying breath of light against the slick, dark glass. You feel a faint tremor in the old stone, like a city sighing beneath its troubled dreams. The fractured laughter, distant and hollow, seems to emanate from the sign itself, a mournful echo of a youthful exuberance now lost. It whispers of a different path, a story tragically rewritten. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, from the shadows of your mind. You picture the worn leather of a discarded mask, its vibrant colors faded, lying forgotten in a quiet corner of the cave. The air itself feels heavy with unspoken questions. What precise moment, you wonder, severed the bright thread of his hope, replacing it with that chilling, broken melody? Moving deeper into the scene, the cool, raw stone beneath Batman's gloved hand becomes an anchor in the shifting landscape of his thoughts. He clenches his fist, but without anger, just a profound, quiet weight of understanding. The city lights below blur into streaks, each one a life unlived, a choice irrevocably made. He accepts the stillness, the quiet truth of what came to be. There is only the calm reflection of a world forever changed. The quiet carried forward, revealing. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. You find yourself tracing a specific night, etched into Gotham's memory like a jagged scar, darker than most. The air then was heavy, tasting faintly of copper and ozone after a sudden, torrential downpour had just ceased. A chill, damp breeze carried the distant, mournful wail of sirens, almost a city's broken lullaby across the rooftops. You remember the slick, grimy texture of the alley wall, rough and cold against a gloved hand, offering no comfort. It was in that very moment, under the sputtering, half-broken neon sign depicting a laughing clown, that a silent, profound understanding of irreversible change began to settle. Moving deeper into the scene, the memory of that night coalesces with painful clarity. Batman stood stoic, a silent, unmoving sentinel, his dark cape a heavy shadow against the rain-swept architecture. But beside him, something in his young ward had changed irrevocably. A light dimmed. A faint, lingering metallic tang of old, dried blood still seemed to cling to the damp stone walls. A spectral whisper of past violence. You imagine the rustle of a discarded domino mask, its vibrant colors faded, its eye holes now utterly empty, lying forgotten near a choked, leaky drain pipe. The distant, melancholic whisper of the city wind felt colder than usual that night, carrying only silent, profound questions into the void. The atmosphere shifts as, inside the young boy's fragile mind, a quiet, chilling seed of chaos had irrevocably taken root, unseen by even the keenest eye. A barely perceptible, cold tremor seemed to run through the very foundations of the city itself. A sympathetic shiver. You recall the distinct sound of a small, almost imperceptible click, the turning of a heavy, rusted lock, sealing away the last remnants of innocence and hope. The worn fabric of a forgotten uniform, a once vibrant splash of red and green, now lay crumpled in a quiet corner of the Batcave, muted by deep shadow and dust. There was no more bright, innocent laughter echoing in the cavern, only the silent, growing, unsettling echo of something entirely new and darkly unpredictable. The cool, damp air within the cave seemed to hold its breath, anticipating a profound and terrifying transformation. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle shift in the air. Batman remained a statue of sorrow, his cape draped like a heavy secret. But beside him, the young ward was different. His shoulders seemed to slump with a weight beyond his years. The damp earth beneath their feet offered no sound. A faint, almost imperceptible tremor passed through his frame, moving deeper into the scene. The memory of that night coalesces with painful clarity. His gaze, once bright and quick, now held a disturbing stillness. The vibrant blue of his eyes seemed veiled, reflecting only the distant, broken neon light. His fingers, still stained faintly with grime, clenched and unclenched almost imperceptibly. The sound of a single, slow drip from a choked drain pipe echoed loudly in the sudden quiet. A shiver, not from cold, traced your skin as you watched the subtle tremor in his hand. The atmosphere shifts as a peculiar sound finally escapes him. It wasn't a sob, nor a scream. It was a soft, guttural chuckle, utterly devoid of joy. The corners of his mouth twitched upwards, forming a shape that was a grotesque parody of a smile. This new expression felt rough, like sandpaper against your soul. A faint, sweet metallic smell, strangely cloying, seemed to emanate from the shadowed boy. You watch the flickering warmth of the half-broken clown's sign dance across his face, highlighting the unsettling grin. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as his head slowly lifted. His eyes, though still clouded, seemed to trace the path of a single raindrop. It fell from a jagged gargoyle, hitting a cracked pavement stone below. The faint, metallic tang from earlier now seemed to lessen. A distant, muffled siren wailed, a mournful sound swallowed quickly by the night. You notice the deep lines etching around his mouth, unfamiliar on his young face. The story draws inward, where his attention lingered on the discarded domino mask. It lay nearby, its vibrant red and green colors now dull under the weak light. He reached out a hand, not to pick it up, but to gently push it with a single gloved finger. It spun slowly on the damp ground, a silent, almost forgotten symbol. A tiny puddle reflected the broken neon sign above, distorting the laughing clown image. The smooth, cold glass of a discarded bottle glinted nearby. The next moment unfolds, revealing a slow, almost imperceptible turn of his head. He looked away from the mask, towards the sputtering neon clown above. A faint smile, not one of joy, but something unsettling, touched the corner of his lips. It was brief, a shadow passing. The cool, damp air felt sharper against his skin now. You detect a subtle shift in the faint metallic tang in the air, a different kind of sharpness. The quiet carried forward, revealing a faint, almost shimmering glint. Your eyes trace it to the discarded bottle, lying on its side. Its smooth, cold glass seemed to hold the distant neon light, twisting it. A soft, almost imperceptible hum lingered in the damp air around it. Robin's gaze, fixed on the object, was unsettlingly still. He reached out a gloved finger, mirroring his earlier touch on the mask. Moving deeper into the scene, the bottle continued its slow turn. Its base briefly revealed a small, forgotten label. The faded paper, now damp and peeling, bore a faded image. It was a crude, smiling face, almost lost to the grime. A single, almost silent, breath escaped Robin's lips. His eyes, though still clouded, seemed to focus on this tiny, twisted detail. The atmosphere shifts as the faint smile on the label seemed to widen, almost mockingly. Robin's own lips twitched, a subtle, unfamiliar movement. It was not a smile of joy, but a slow, creeping transformation. His fingers tightened ever so slightly around the cold glass. The distant, muffled wail of a siren returned, a mournful echo against the city's hum. You notice the subtle flexing in his jaw, a tension previously absent. The story draws inward, where his attention lingered on the crude smile. It was a simple, faded image, yet it held his gaze. A faint chill touched his gloved finger, resting on the damp glass. The distant city hum remained, a low, constant drone. His breath hitched, almost imperceptibly. The crude, faded face seemed to offer a silent understanding. The damp ground exhaled a cool, earthy scent around him. A profound stillness settled, heavy and soft. Stepping deeper, we find his gloved finger lingered. It traced the faded smile on the damp glass. A faint shiver ran through the cool surface. The city's low rumble felt far away. His eyes softened, almost imperceptibly. A forgotten echo seemed to stir within him. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle curve in the smile. It wasn't menacing, just a simple, almost childlike line. A faint metallic tang drifted on the cool air. His gaze sharpened, then softened again. This small, broken image offered a peculiar solace. You notice the heavy stillness of the moment. The atmosphere shifts as his hand gently curled around the bottle. The cool glass felt surprisingly grounding. The crude smile seemed to widen, almost imperceptibly. He felt a quiet, profound, understanding bloom. It was not joy nor despair, but a peculiar stillness. You sense a heavy, yet settled peace in his posture. The small, broken image continued its quiet hold. A peculiar solace warmed his chest. The damp air felt cool against his exposed skin. He gently lifted the discarded bottle. The rough edge of its forgotten label brushed his gloved thumb. Was this crude face a silent question? A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. As he slowly rotated the bottle, the faded image seemed to subtly shift. The smile, once simple, now revealed a faint, almost invisible, tear at its corner. A quiet sorrow mingled with the crude humor. A single drop of condensation rolled down the cold, smooth glass. Distant sirens wailed. A thin, mournful sound carried on the breeze. He wondered what unseen hand had etched such a conflicted expression. The story draws inward, where his gloved finger softly brushed the tiny tear. It felt like a small, silent acknowledgement of shared burdens. The rough paper gave way slightly under his light touch. Perhaps, he mused, even the simplest smile carried its own quiet ache. The mild chill of the night settled deeper around him, yet a strange, soft warmth bloomed within his chest. A subtle, comforting understanding began to settle. Like dust motes in a shaft of light, the question lingered, a soft whisper in the quiet. His gaze deepened, tracing the almost imperceptible tear. The chill from the bottle seeped into his palm, a steady, grounding cold. He remembered other broken things, scattered and forgotten across Gotham's shadowed alleys. The faint metallic tang on the air persisted, subtle yet sharp. This crude, drawn smile, once dismissible, now felt strangely familiar. Moving deeper into the scene, the solitude was profound, yet it held a strange, comforting embrace. He slowly leaned against a cold, damp brick wall, the bottle still clutched lightly. The city's low rumble felt far away, a distant memory. His gaze lifted, passing over the grimy rooftops, towards the perpetually bruised sky. A single, flickering neon sign cast a faint, sickly green glow onto the wet pavement below. He considered the sheer anonymity of the alley, a place where faces like the one on the bottle might bloom and wither, unnoticed. It was a space where unspoken truths found quiet resonance. The rough texture of the wall pressed against his back, a steady anchor in the swirling quiet. He brought the bottle closer, the crude smile now bathed in the faint, distant glow. A curious calm settled within him, easing the familiar tension he carried. He saw not just a drawing, but a broken spirit, mirroring forgotten parts of himself. The quiet hum of the night offered no judgment, only space. A faint scent of ozone lingered in the damp air, a clean counterpoint to the city's grime. He considered the heavy mask he himself wore, and the strange freedom in discarding it, even for a moment. Let your breath slow. With each exhale, feel your shoulders relax. The anonymity of the alley, once a distant thought, now settled around him. You feel a quiet embrace in its shadows. The flickering neon above painted the wet bricks in hues of green and bruised purple. He slowly tilted the bottle again, the crude smile now catching the faint, shifting light. Moving deeper into the scene, the quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle shift in his awareness. The drawn smile on the bottle still held its faint sorrow, but a new layer emerged. He traced the tear with his gloved finger, a feather-light touch. It felt like a mirror, reflecting something hidden within himself. The air, damp and cool, now seemed to carry a faint, sweet scent of forgotten laughter, a ghostly echo. He wondered if the artist, like him, had found beauty in broken things. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the gentle chill of the bottle ground him. The weight of it, light yet firm, felt reassuring. You might feel a similar weight, comforting and familiar. When he opened them again, the bruised sky above seemed less hostile, more understanding. The flickering neon, instead of mocking, now offered a strange, muted comfort. He realized the broken smile wasn't just sorrow, it was resilience, a refusal to completely shatter. The quiet carried forward, revealing a deeper, more profound stillness. He noticed a single drop of rain tracing a path down the bottle. The crude smile seemed to soften, holding a quiet vulnerability. He felt a faint, sympathetic sigh escape his lips. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as the dim light caught the edge of a faint crack on the bottle. It ran through the painted eye of the smile, a hairline fracture, almost invisible, mirroring the tear he had traced earlier. This tiny imperfection resonated deeply within him. It felt like a silent understanding. Perhaps, he mused, true character often reveals itself in such delicate breaks. The city's distant wail seemed to agree. The quiet carried forward, revealing a profound sense of recognition. He traced the hairline fracture again, feeling the subtle unevenness of the glass. The crack felt strangely familiar, a kinship with the broken smile. It spoke of resilience, not ruin. The damp air brushed his cheek, a cool caress. He noticed the faint green light shimmering along the tiny fissure. It highlighted a quiet strength. Moving deeper into the scene, the faint echo of laughter seemed to solidify. It wasn't mocking. Instead, it was a gentle, wistful memory. He felt the cold glass grow warmer under his touch. The idea of broken things, once sad, now held a strange allure. The city's distant hum felt less threatening, more like a lullaby. A quiet understanding began to bloom within him. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle, internal echo. He still held the warmed bottle, its crude smile now less a symbol of sorrow, more a testament to enduring. A new curiosity stirred within him, a gentle pull toward the quiet resilience held within the cracked glass. The damp air felt less cold, more a part of the city's living breath. He noted the faint green light still clinging to the fissure, almost like a tiny, luminous vein. This fractured beauty, once unnoticed, now seemed to whisper a hidden truth. Moving deeper into the scene, the city's distant hum became a soft, rhythmic pulse. He slowly raised his gaze from the bottle, letting its weight settle comfortably in his palm. The faded neon glow from a far-off sign painted the slick alley walls with muted amber streaks. A cool breeze drifted past, carrying the faint, metallic scent of rain on old concrete. He wondered if the brokenness he saw reflected in the glass was a kind of hidden strength, mirroring a quiet resilience within himself. The story draws inward, where a quiet acceptance began to bloom. He gently tucked the warm glass bottle into a hidden pocket of his suit. The fabric felt soft against the cool metal of its surface. The steady, soft drip of water from a broken gutter nearby became a soothing rhythm. The damp air, now almost sweet, tasted faintly of coming change. He felt a deep, peaceful resolve settle in his chest, a quiet understanding of beauty found in unexpected cracks. The world outside felt less chaotic, more an intricate dance of light and shadow. The quiet carried forward, revealing a soft surrender to the night. He lifted the warm bottle slightly, its crude smile catching the faint, distant light. The city's pulse now felt like a steady, low hum beneath his feet. You notice the subtle patterns etched into the slick concrete. Each tiny imperfection told a silent story of survival. A cool current of air flowed gently through the narrow space. It carried the faint, metallic scent of rain on old, worn stone. Moving deeper into the scene, the faint gleam of the distant neon seemed to soften. He felt a quiet, understanding settle within his chest. The cracked glass, once a symbol of damage, now whispered a different truth. It spoke of endurance, of things surviving their fractures. You consider the strength found in what endures. A solitary drop of water fell from a corroded pipe nearby. It created a soft, rhythmic tap on the damp ground. The story draws inward, where a sense of quiet curiosity deepened. He slowly rotated the glass bottle, its rough edges smooth against his fingers. The green light along the fissure seemed to glow with a gentle inner life. This broken object held a strange, comforting weight in his hand. You find a quiet solace in its simple resilience. The distant city lights blurred into soft, abstract washes of color. He felt a peaceful resolve begin to settle around him. The rhythmic tap echoed softly. You notice a tiny patch of moss, vibrant green, clinging to the corroded pipe. It thrived despite the harsh city. This small life found beauty in the decay. A quiet warmth bloomed in your chest. The fragile bottle felt surprisingly strong, a testament to enduring. Moving deeper into the scene, the air grew stiller. The distant hum of the city seemed to fade into a deeper silence. A long, angular shadow stretched across the slick alley wall. Your grip on the bottle tightened, almost imperceptibly. A faint flicker of uncertainty stirred within you. A soft, unfamiliar tremor. The faint gleam from the broken glass caught the dim light, shimmering with a strange, compelling beauty. You recall a forgotten echo, a quiet whisper from a past life. The bottle felt less like a found object in your hand, more like a silent, waiting mirror. It held a hidden truth, a secret reflection waiting to be seen. A faint flicker of uncertainty stirred within you, a soft, unfamiliar tremor. The rhythmic tap of water nearby became a quiet pulse. It drew your gaze to a dark reflection in a rain puddle. The blurred surface mirrored an indistinct figure standing at a silent crossroads. One path seemed familiar, leading back to known struggles. The other twisted into a deeper shadow, beckoning with unknown truths. The quiet carried forward, revealing the city's muted breath. You feel a gentle chill in the air, a memory of a different night. It was cloaked in rain, a crushing silence falling after a crucial misstep. Batman's gauntleted hand, reaching out, missed its mark by mere inches. A young hero, reaching back, found only empty air. He slipped, not into a villain's grasp, but into an abyss of his own. The slick, wet pavement gleamed with a cold, almost mocking light. In the gentle distance, a new element appears. The image of Robin, suspended in that fateful, falling moment. His face, usually bright with fierce resolve, held a fleeting shadow. It was a flicker of something profoundly lost, something quietly broken behind his wide eyes. The familiar R symbol on his chest seemed to waver, just for a second. It stretched thin, distorting slightly against the falling rain. A single drop of water traced a path down his cheek, mirroring a silent, internal tear. The cold, mocking light seemed to draw your gaze deeper. It led into the puddle's dark reflection, now holding clearer shapes. Your grip on the fragile bottle tightened, almost imperceptibly. A quiet curiosity began to bloom. What lay beyond the familiar path? A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. The distorted figure in the water seemed to stir. It beckoned you closer to its silent crossroads. You still clutch the bottle, its coolness against your palm. A soft sense of wonder now blossomed within you. The city's muted breath deepened around you. The path, twisting into deeper shadow, felt less daunting. The bottle in your hand felt oddly lighter. A profound stillness settled, a quiet calm. You accept this new journey, finding peace in its unknown. The quiet carried forward, revealing the figure's face. It was young, still recognizable as Robin, but a faint, unsettling curve touched his lips. The city's distant hum now felt like a gentle lullaby. Raindrops beaded on the slick pavement. They reflected soft, muted neon lights. Moving deeper into the scene, the reflection deepened. His costume was visibly torn, the iconic R symbol askew. A quiet ache stirred in your chest. You recognized the weight of past choices. The cool night air carried a faint scent of ozone. It was a memory of electric, troubled nights. The atmosphere shifts as the puddles blurred, edges softened. The reflected figure seemed to settle. No longer a tormented hero, but something new emerged. A quiet resolve now defined his reflected face. The distant city hum faded even further. A gentle breeze stirred the puddle's surface. Damaged R badge seemed to catch a stray beam. It pulsed with a muted amber light. The city's distant hum quieted further, almost holding its breath. You feel a gentle stillness settling around you. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. The distorted figure's gaze seemed to meet yours. A faint, almost imperceptible shimmer crossed the slick pavement. The unsettling curve of his lips deepened, just a little. Moving deeper into the scene, the reflection deepened. That nascent smile took a clearer shape. Nearby neon signs flickered, mirroring a strange, cold light in his eyes. A quiet understanding began to bloom within you. The quiet carried forward, revealing his eyes. Once bright, they now held a depth, like pools of shadow mirroring the city's dim light. A single, almost imperceptible tear slid down his cheek, catching the faint amber glow from a distant street lamp. It left a cool trail on his skin. The air around him felt strangely still, a temporary truce in the constant rain. You hear the faint, rhythmic drip of water from a broken gargoyle nearby. Moving deeper into the scene, the figure stirred. His shoulders, previously slumped, straightened just slightly. Your gaze drifts down to his hands, now visible. They clutched a small glass bottle, its surface slick with moisture. The label was peeling, unreadable in the dim light. A quiet, almost hesitant chuckle escaped his lips, barely audible over the soft rustle of wet fabric. Stepping deeper, we find his gaze sharpening. The bottle, still clutched, felt almost weightless in his grasp. He tilted it, and a thick, iridescent green liquid swirled within, catching the faint light with a peculiar shimmer. A low, almost melodic hum began to emanate from him, a sound unlike the city's mechanical drone. It was softer, more organic, a quiet prelude. The cool night air seemed to carry the faint, sweet and sour scent of chemicals, subtle but distinct.